you ever feel lost or stuck in life? Maybe you're facing a tough business decision. Maybe you're in a relationship that seems to be going nowhere, and you're just not sure what to do. Or perhaps you're going through a major life-changing transformation and need some guidance. There's no reason to face life's obstacles alone. Mari Rose is a life intuitive, author, and teacher, helping to bring new light to your rapidly changing world. She's here for you, to channel guidance to assist you in navigating your daily life with a renewed sense of clarity, empowerment, and joy. For a personal reading with Mari Rose, call her at 702-807-6495. That's 702-807-6495. Or you can visit her on the web at mari-rose.com.
Welcome to Change Your Layers, Change Your Life, your home for learning about an enlightened approach to self-awareness and the art of higher consciousness. Now here's your host, Mari Rose.
Hello, welcome to Change Your Layers, Change Your Life. My name is Mari Rose. Every week we talk about a different subject, and one of the things that I do is I do take an antidote from my book, and I'll share it with you in a few minutes. But I am an intuitive. I do channel guidance whenever I'm helping people. I help them achieve some goals, maybe navigate them through some personal fulfillments, trying to help them find inner peace, success. Maybe we want to discover some things that they haven't explored, maybe helping to find your dream. So all those things that helps us on a daily basis to be able to create more of the presence and the goodness and the light that we are about. Today's little antidote that comes from my book. I channeled this book. My sister says, Mari, if there's only words, they could heal. And this book holds little antidotes in order for us to correct our behavior or understand why we're doing certain things. And that's what I do, is I help people understand what psychological or emotional perceptions they've actually created, things that we're not focused on, or things that we avoid, or we just don't have any training. So I'm here in order for you to understand that it makes a very simple tool for us to use on a daily life. Let me read to you one of my antidotes, and it says, appreciate daily what people have brought to you. The memory creates a space for receiving. What does that mean? I have to share with you, every session that I have, or every show that I have, I do have a caller that comes in or calls, and it's open to everyone. That number is 702-609-7626. And what I also do, I ask callers or people that are watching to email me at Mari-Rose, Mari-Rose.com. Questions. What do I need to learn? What's the burning question in my heart and my soul that I need to know about? I have a very interesting question that came from Mr. G. I'm going to call him Mr. G. He says, I have a broken heart. And it moved me the way he wrote it. And I want to express to him that I'm sorry that this happened, but it's maybe for a reason. So we're going to go through this. What he said was that I met this woman. She's amazing. We just connected in this emotional kind of soul way kind of a way. Everything was just gently, we were attracted romantically. Everything was right on cue. We dated for a year, and then all of a sudden she left. And and he also said very interesting things. He says, whenever I connected to her, it's almost like we felt it vibrating within our essence, our body, that was so magnifying. I've never felt this before. How could I've connected with this individual and now she's gone? So we're going to call this the broken heart. This broken heart, and it's many of us also experience this. We're experiencing it on a regular basis. We experience this from past relationships, our jobs, our pets, not necessarily just romantic, but encompassing all. Maybe our adversaries really hurt us in some way. So let's talk about the soul connection, because I do feel that this Mr. G is going to heal himself, and he's going to be going through this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate to you how I read for people and whenever they call, because this is going to be a personal reading for him, but it also addresses the issues and things that we're all going through as well. So we're going to give you a little bit of information. I do feel like it was a stunning relationship. It was magnetic in such a certain way, overwhelming, euphoric. And I also felt like they had a lot of, he did say that there was a lot of electricity type of energy around him. It was a very instant kind of connection. And what I also sense about this relationship, Mr. G, is, I hope you're listening, because this is for you, that it was a past life relationship. Because I believe in reincarnation. We're here time and time again in order for us to resolve issues, to be able to get through the pain, to get through the emotion that we're going through, to understand ourselves better. It's part of that karmic wheel that I will express and other people's will also express. And what it does is that each individual that comes into your life is there for a reason. It's a contract type of situation. Your parents, the work, personal relationships, the type of work that you do, your adversaries, everyone that's actually coming into your circle, because we travel in packs, and if we don't understand the fear, if we don't understand grief, if we don't understand depression, we're here to do it again. So in this personal relationship, I felt like the electricity that y'all have felt, I feel like you've been together maybe possibly 10 times, because whenever I picked up the energy, that's really what I'm sensing and hearing, because I'm also clairvoyant. But I also sense that maybe, and this may resonate with you, I see both of you sitting on a cliff. And it's almost like being those tornado watchers, the people that chase tornadoes, because I felt like that was something that both of you shared at another lifetime. So I think that you may possibly like to watch storms and lights and interaction in some way. And I felt that you were both in one lifetime, that you were sharing that, and that was something that you had maybe promised to each other. If we meet again, we'll share the electricity of this time, the energy in the storm. And that is the gift that she brought to you in this lifetime. So I hope you're understanding that, because that's what that electrical current was all about. Not only that, but it was a soul contract. We have two types of soul contracts that come into, or multitudes of soul contracts, because we have one soul contract, but it's always 2 or 3 or 4 relationships that we may experience. It's not just to do with romance. It has to do with pets. It has to do with people around you, your jobs, your career. So it's a general rule. A twin flame in your relationship. This is a twin flame relationship, which means that a twin flame comes into your life to shake you and move you. A lot of times what we have experienced in the past is that we maybe want to please this individual. We're ready to move in a very fast, direct way. I'm already making plans because I love this individual. And then all of a sudden the ball is dropped. That's really what happened with you, Mr. G, is the feeling that you gave and you gave, because the reason that you're also giving in that such an abundant way is because you're contracted to do that. And it's like we're in this massive souls of energy that's coming encapsulated into this physical form, and we experience that. And we experience it by one person or 2 people, and it has a multitude of people that are around us that create this centrifugal force. So in this, I feel like that soul contracts with you has to do with something that you wanted to give, because you wanted to please that individual. That person was there to shake you up. That person was there to redefine how much you really loved yourself. A lot of times you'll say to yourself, and I felt like you may have expressed it also in the email, I said, why did she do this? I can't believe that she did this. Well, I think in that psychological way, Mr. G, it has to do with the way it's the person or the subconscious saying, how could she have taken this love that I gave her and just tossed it away? And it's because you're not experiencing the love that you have for yourself. You're not connecting to that. You needed that disappointment, that big disappointment, because you're in the process, and I strongly feel that you're in the process of looking for a new relationship, but you're not quite ready yet. You're about 50, 60% past this. We're going to help you kind of transcend through that. And the reason we do that is because you do need someone to disappoint you in order to get to a higher consciousness level. They're there for you to experience a quick, fast, higher connection to yourself. If you had not gone through all this pain, this emotional pain that you're presently in, you wouldn't be in the process of letting go of the sadness that you experience, of the depression that you may have experienced, of the overwhelming, why me, why me? And I feel like this person also lied to you in some way. The reason we lie is because we don't want to experience the pain. The reason we continue to try to get our way is because we don't want to experience, being hurt. So she was also rather defending herself, because I do feel like that there were some lies behind some of her actions. Now, what we do experience, the devastation of, maybe making plans, the judgment that you maybe experience. But the reason we judge, and the reason you felt like, why did she do this, is because you're judging. You're judging yourself because you expect for you to be more loved, to be able to find that connection with yourself. Maybe if you're in an abusive relationship, was this an abusive relationship? Not really, but in an emotional way, in some way. So the emotions that you've maybe experienced is that, your intuition, your gut said, get out, get out. Maybe some of us are experiencing that emotional disconnection in abusive relationships. There could be a relationship that they're verbal, or your gut tells you. The first thing you need to do is to get out whenever it's a twin flame relationship. We'll talk about soulmate connections, and then we'll explain that. It's all the crap that you've experienced, or the crap that you're actually in that you need to be able to love yourself. The feeling of I need this abuse in order for me to find my higher love for myself. This abusive, this disconnection, this emotional pain that you went through and you're going through, it's part of the transformation that you need. It's almost as though you were extremely ill and you ended up in the hospital, and you ended up in the hospital for 6 months. And once you came out of it, you decided to be actively, consciously attending to your care, your health, betterment in some way. You needed that illness in order for you to transform and change. That's kind of the same thing that you went through, Mr. G, is that you needed someone to break your heart, smash you, and then so you can come out of that rubbish that you've been in order to find your strength. We need it because then we're going to be able to find the soulmate that you're so looking for at this time. Okay, now it's, a lot of times that you'll experience with these people is that you'll say, I can't believe that they did this. Well, it's their journey. It's their transformation and change. And we can't necessarily place the blame on that individual because that's their karmic energy. That's what they were doing. You just partook in it because you needed it. And a lot of times we'll go out and we'll say, tonight I'm going to find my soulmate. And you go out and stop looking for a soulmate because you'll find another twin flame. One twin flame will come after another, and the abusive in one way or another is going to continue to follow you. So you have to be very, very careful. A lot of times people will say, well, I have been alone for 10 years, and the best thing to do is to be alone. Because when you're alone, that soulmate arrives. That person that you really love will be there because you've had enough time to heal. The feeling that I'm also picking up from you is the pain that you may experience. The feeling of, OMG, what happened? And the pain also is, I'm going to help you understand what pain is. Pain is something that was taught to us when we were children. Our parents were busy. We, had a big household. I do feel like that whatever pain that you may have gone through may have come through a feminine energy in your life, a mother or mother figure in some way. But we didn't come with manuals. The manuals were not presented to us. We were born and given to our parents. So we're children raising children. So in what she was doing for you is if you were in pain, she let you brew. She allowed you to go into your room and do whatever that you needed to do in order for you to get over it. And that's what really happened with the pain that you're experiencing. The pain represents the abandonment that you felt as a child. And so now we're getting pretty deep here, because we're starting to understand the steps that made us to feel that pain and how it's resonating, and I sense it and feel it in your heart still. So in doing that, it's because you may have felt abandoned when you were a child, and it's not that you were abandoned, it's just the way your parents coped with it. And they said, let's give him his space. And the child says, every time I'm in pain, I'm abandoned. So that's very present in your energy, and I felt like you've been very sad. And I do feel like she was lying to you in many ways. So you have to be really careful, because you knew it, you sensed it, you felt it, and you didn't pay attention. I have specifically written some things for you and sent it back to you, Mr. G, so it's very specific on exercises and things that you need to do in order for you to shift and change. Because each time that I read for something, it's very, very personal. But these are the general rules behind seeking a soulmate and seeing a twin flame. A twin flame is definitely someone to shift us and evolve us into a higher consciousness. It helps us to understand how we don't love ourselves, because we're always giving it away. I'm giving you my heart. I'm going to put it on this platter. And when you do that, you create the absence of love for yourself, because you're giving it away. She must be crazy about me, because look how much love I've given her. If you have an abusive relationship, and it doesn't always become abusive, but once in a while he throws a fit or she throws a fit, and your gut says, let's get out of here. Do it. There's no reason why you should be in an abusive relationship. It doesn't matter how small it is. There's no reason for it. And the part of this is the sadness and the disconnection that you've been feeling, the pain that you've been feeling. It also stems from being a child in the upbringing, your conditioning, the view that you had, your old perception. We talked about some other things in last week's show, and we talked about how the sadness, the depression that you may have gone and experienced and you were going through, the depression is just a detoxification that helps you move and evolve into finding your strength and finding the love that you have for yourself. Work on yourself first. Work on this heart. Who am I? What am I about? Because what you think, you're constantly creating. We need to shift you. We're about 60% done, and I want you to see in the next 2 or 3 months, because I do see within 2, because I hear numbers. It's a day, a week, a month, a year, and it does feel like in the next 2 months, possibly for you, that you're going to be in a social event, that you're going to feel a whole lot lighter. Because when I sense and feel your energy, Mr. G, you have the shroud around you, this walls of you're covering yourself up with something, and it's because of the pain that you're still experiencing. Now let's talk about soulmates. A soulmate, a true soulmate, will help you. It's a balance. It's a balance of who this individual is, because you've gotten to the place in your heart and in your essence of pure love for yourself. I know who I am. I'm connected in that intimate way. I do need rest. I need to nurture my body. I need to take care of myself physically. I'm on a goal. I really love my life the way it is. That soulmate arrives. Why? Because it's mirroring your image of who you are. The mirror image of, and it's going to be a balance. It's going to be something that just flows. It's not something that's going to be struggling. If you're tired, for instance, if you go into a twin flame relationship, and if you're tired, then you're going to be experiencing, and you want to take a nap or you want to be alone, that person's going to make you feel like you're cheating on them and you're not present. But if it's a soulmate connection, that person's going to say, go take a nap. It looks like you need a nap and you need some rest. So I hope this helps in this evolution of where you are. I do feel like a new soulmate may be coming in the next one, and that does feel like a year. And I do feel like that you're shifting and changing as we're speaking. I feel like their energy is rather lifting, and it's going to be able to You're going to be able to connect to people and be more open with yourself. And you're no longer shrouding yourself with this pain, because you have a field of pain around you that you think it's not visible, but other people see it. If you feel someone's pain, acknowledge it. Oh, that person's in pain. That way you will not get involved with the other person's pain, and they drag you into their drama. So we have to be very careful. I think, do we have a caller? Yes, we have a caller. We do have one question on the show, and the number here is 702-609-7626. And a caller? Hello, caller.
Yes, hi.
Hi. Who am I talking to?
This is Dave.
Hi, Dave. What question do you have for me?
Well, I guess, I've always been pretty close with my father. In fact, I've even wondered if we're soulmates. But our relationship is not without issues. We tend to butt heads a lot. And I don't know how to handle arguments with him, because he always thinks he's right. I wondered if maybe you could shed some light on that for me.
Well, first of all, it's our parents, and we try to respect them. I'm sorry. I took a bad drink of water there. And the relationship with your father seems to be something that is obviously some type of a twin flame relationship. We come into circles, and we come into life after life with the same people, the same familiar energy that we're in. You can go out and you go, God, you look familiar, you feel familiar, and that's part of a twin flame, a kind of a soul connection contract that you're here, to experience. So with your father, it does feel like a twin flame relationship, although he has tried to shift you and changed you in your life, and that part of that has been maybe a little bit of a struggle for you. But he does tend to, and I'm picking up his energy, he does feel like he's a little bit arrogant, but the reason he's arrogant is because he has a lot of fear of failure, of not being there, and being single. And I don't know what that singleness is about. Maybe he was a single father, or he had some feeling single and alone, and he needed to become that big authority for you. And in some ways, you have some of his qualities only because he's taught you to be that way. And it's not that you're exactly like that, but you don't know any better than to become a lot like him. So what I would do with him is that I would say, I bless you and thank you very much for the lessons, Dad. And then accept him, because he's working and vibrating at a different level and different frequency than you are. You're more of an aware being, and you're more conscientious, and you're a higher conscientious type of individual. And so that's why you can see it. So bless him every time that you in a confrontation is he doesn't know any better. And if you write to me, I'll give you some exercise on how to deal with him personally, so that way we can shift and transform not only your acceptance of him, but it will help to shift and transform him. All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So this is what we do on Change Your Layers, Change Your Life. I hope you stay tuned next week. We do talk about spiritual the art of consciousness, and we do speak about kind of tools, ideas on how to evolve ourselves, transform ourselves, how do we change, and how do we find that inner peace. Transformation in our perceptions are very, very important, because it's about allowing those old perceptions, those paradigms, to change and transform. And again, I'm so glad that you came here, and we'll stay tuned for next week. But from my heart to yours, I send you my love, and please pass it on. Change your layers, change your life. Next week with Mari Rose.
Do you ever feel lost or stuck in life? Maybe you're facing a tough business decision. Maybe you're in a relationship that seems to be going nowhere, and you're just not sure what to do. Or perhaps you're going through a major life-changing transformation and need some guidance. There's no reason to face life's obstacles alone. Mari Rose is a life intuitive, author, and teacher, helping to bring new light to your rapidly changing world. She's here for you, to channel guidance to assist you in navigating your daily life with a renewed sense of clarity, empowerment, and joy. For a personal reading with Mari Rose, call her at 702-807-6495. That's 702-807-6495. Or you can visit her on the web at Mari, M-A-R-I, -rose.com.